Good day all. Welcome to video 4, in which we are going to look at conditional formatting. I have prepared the page. I didn't want to waste time on copying, but in previous versions in previous videos we saw the copying, so we dealt with clipboard, which is cut, copy and paste. I've been to the employees page, I copied this data and I put it into the main page. And I have also given some range names to the data. So my range, I've called the whole data, and I have the grade range, I have called column J, the data in column J, I've called the grade. For obvious reasons, because that is called the grade. Now, in normal circumstances, if we wanted to highlight something, or if we wanted to emphasize a field, we would have gone to font alignment number, or we would have pressed Control 1, and we could have selected any one of these tags, or tabs as other people call them, and we could have given it a alignment format. If in the fonts, we could have given it font color, we could give it a border, we could give it a fill. Now I'm going to show you that if I wanted to highlight this field, I could go to background, give it a light blue, and let's give it a border, and let's give the text color a dark blue. This is now formatted. In the formatting options in the home menu bar with its button bar, and I've selected from the button bar certain options like a border, a background, and a font color. I could have centered it. I could have done all sorts of formatting manually. The advantage, what we're going to look at now, is conditional formatting. So I'm going to copy this, what we've done before. I'm going to format painter this with no formatting, and I'm going to paint this, and there's no more formatting on this. So to take a format away, you could copy nothing, there's no formatting in this cell, and paste it, format painter it over whatever format you have. I'm now going to jump into conditional formatting. So I'm going to select the range. We're going to look at each value in this range, and we're going to format the cells in this range. So each cell is going to be looked at individually, and it's going to be formatted according to the rule that we're going to set. And the rules are in this list. So we can highlight cells against a rule that says if the value is greater than. I must take a quick step back. We spoke about, in the first or second video, we spoke about name or character fields and number fields. This, of course, these ones up to here only relate to number fields. An F technically is also true, but accounts cannot be greater than cells. The value of F, the ASCII value could be greater, but I am not going to go into that at the moment. The rules that we're looking at is we can have it greater than a value, less than a value. It can be between two values. The value can be equal to, so I can say give me all the ones that are 2. In the character values, which are the ones with letters, letters in it, we can say that the text must contain something. So we can look for Eric or Sue, and it will find that. We can work with dates. Now in this data I don't have dates per se. I've broken it up, so at this point in time I can't show that. And we can look for duplicate values. Then we have bottom rules. This is more statistics, the top 10 items, and there's a little bit of a issue with this because it's not necessarily 10 items. It's a statistical thing, so there could be some confusion here, but this is not a statistics video, so I'm not going to go into that. But the top items, so you can take top 10%, you can take the bottom items, and above average and below average. That's an obvious selection that you take. The results might not always be as clear-cut as what we think. We then have data labels, and for each one, this is the value determines what we're going to see. It is no calculation. In these ones, it actually determines which values are greater than the value that we give it. So there's a sort of a calculation in there. Here, it just in the data labels, the data bars, it just takes the value and averages out. So if I select this one, it looks at all the values. We've got 1 to 6, and it then breaks this up into the size it determines and breaks it up into 6. And for each one, so a 1 is 1/6 of the width of this field. If I make it wider, it is still 1/6. So you see this made it a little bit bigger. If I make it smaller, it'll be very small, but still 1/6 of the width of the field. And so for each one. So 2 is 2 parts of that width. 3, 3, and 4, 4, and so forth. The 6 will be the full width of this field. Going back to the conditional formatting and going back to the data bars, these are just colors. They do nothing but show you different colors. And these ones are filled with the gradient fill, and the obvious, it's an obvious selection. There's no big shakes about using the data bars. Later, when you start using decimal places, it gets a little bit, by the way, it does the same thing. It divides the width of the cell into the values, and then it presents the different bars in the field. So again, the colors just mean a selection. It means nothing to the values of the field. We then have a normal color scale, which is the same as the bars. The scale is just based on, sorry, I need to clear this rule because I've selected it. It's gone, and I'm going to go back in and I'm going to say the color scale. It's the same as the data bars, but just in color. The same thing. It is based on the value of the cell, and according to that it gives it a color. And these are just the different colors. If you wanted something with blue, you would select this one. I'm going to select it, and I now show that the highest value is a dark blue, the lowest value is red. So this went from red to blue. So in the selection of color scale, it went from red to blue, and all the different values in between get a different shade of the colors selected. We can use green, and that's it's just a matter of choice. I'm going to clean this out again because I've made a selection, and now we're going to the next one, which is icons. Like the data bar and the colors, it is just a selection. It is based on the value of the field, and we can use arrows, we can use different characters, ticks and crosses, and different formats of those ticks and crosses. We can use filled stars, and any one of these can be used. The more rules is not more options, it just, these are the options that we have. In more advanced videos we might, well, let me not even make promises there. We are just, at this point in time, going to use the characters that we have. I'm going to choose this one, and for each value there is a icon. Now remember, we went from 1 to 6, therefore we got 3 items, so for each 2 we got 1 character. So 1 and 2 have got a down arrow. The 3 and 4 have got a sideways arrow, which means it is average, and the 5 and 6 have got up arrows. We could, in this case, the highest person is 1 and he's got a down arrow. We would like to change that, so we could go into the manage the rules. I'm now managing the rule that we set, select it and edit it. I can reverse. Can you see at the bottom here, when I reverse it goes the other way around. So if I select this, and I don't know what I've done, so I'm going to first check the wrong selection. I'm going to go back into manage rules, this one, and I'm going to edit this rules, and I'm going to reverse. Now if I chose it, remember that the 5 is up and the 1 and 2 is down. If I select this and I go OK, the 5 is now down and the 1 and 2 are up. So the 1 and 2 are the highest ones. 2 and 3 are still, 3 and 4 are still the medium ones, and the bottom ones, which is 5 and 6, are now the down arrow key. That is just, I'm going to select it again, the icon set. I could change that to flags and anything. I could just use black and white. It is again just a selection, but it is a selection based on the value of the fields. Now I'm going to clear this out again, and let's go and look at some. I'm going to select the whole database now, and I'm going to view. Let's go and select. Let's go and have a look at who is called. I don't know, we can select anyone, but let's look at a text. And the text at the moment, it has selected Peter, but the Peter is because I'm at the beginning of the cell. If I select another one and I'm going to type it in, I'm going to say David, enter, and you see that it has now selected 2 items where the value is David. In my range, there are only 2 fields that have got the name David in it. I can look over here. Remember, I've selected the whole range, so I can go back in here, highlight rules, and say where the text contains. And now let's go say ACC and go OK. I made a mistake because I didn't clean out the rule first. I should have cleaned out the rule, and so I'm going to select text that contains ACC, enter. Everything in the database where the value contains ACC is now highlighted, and the highlight was red, dark red on light red. I can change that if I so wanted to. Manage the rule. This is the rule we have. Edit it, and I can say now I'm going to change the highlight according to what I want. We chose a pre-selected one just now, but I can now say formatted, and here comes the format cells. So in any, we spoke about this in the previous lecture. Control 1, brings up this dialog box, and because we are formatting, we're not doing protection, so that one has been left out in this case. But we have also the alignment. I see is not in here. So the number, font, border, and fill, we can select anything in these ones. So we can choose let's choose a fill effect. So we can have a horizontal shading. We can choose our own colors. So let's choose a nice orange, and this is what it's going to look like. We chose horizontal, so let's choose this one, go OK, and say OK, and OK out of everything. And it is now everywhere where there's an ACC in the value, I have formatted according to my selection. So I went to Alt Control 1, and I chose, remember, this one, and the protection isn't there. And I selected the fill effect with my own color, and that is out of these selections, this font, alignment, and number, not alignment, I have selected what the condition, which says anything with an ACC, must look like. If you don't set it up, you have to choose. I'm going to go back into my range. I'm going to right click and clean it out. If I do this again, so in there, and go to text, let's select ACC, it comes up with a predefined selection, which I can choose here. I can do a light red fill. I have only got these options, or custom format, and that will bring up the format cells dialog box. But again, let's just at this point in time leave. Let's just take the green one again and go OK. I have selected the standard green background. The condition was based on the whole database, where in the database anything that starts with ACC must be highlighted. Now that could be confusing, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to do a similar selection. But now let's look for anything that starts with, and I'm just trying to find one that will, well, we had one, DAV, and here if I do this, we had two fields that started with DAV. Now let's find all the people that work for HR. So I'm going to go right click, clean it out quickly, go back in here, and technically I'm going to make a mistake. Everything that starts with HR, go OK, and these are the people that work in HR, and there's some more. But please note that the person whose surname has got HR in the name was also selected. So the more options you give it, so the more characters you give, the closer the find, the closer the fit, so to speak. So HR is a very loose find. It will find anything. I can find SA, and I'll find other. I can do that. Let's clear it again and go clear. Now SA, find me all the cells, and by laziness I can say just find me all the SAs, and you'll see that there are names here. We have names with SA in it. Sandra is SA, Susan is SA, Saskia has an SA, but the sales department also has an SA. Now that is too loose to find. Now a worst case scenario, or a worst scenario, is because we've selected the whole database, and in that database I have gender. Now the gender has only one character, so if I go and find the same thing and say give me all the females, find everything with an F, I'm not going to find the correct data because I've got everything that has an F in it has been found. So to be more precise, I'll have to say in the field, and let's give this field a name. Okay, and let's do that. So in the name box, I'm going to call it gender. Did I spell that correct? No, I did not spell that correct. Gender. Enter. And now I have selected gender. Now I can go first clean out, because otherwise it's not going to be obvious. Clean it out. I'm going to select gender, and I'm going to say in that condition, find me everything that has an F. Okay. Now I have found only the females in the database. And I've left out all the people with an F. So where the name contains an F. So it depends on what you are looking for and how you are looking for it. You must remember that the conditional formatting will take exactly the command that you give it. And you must be precise as to in what field you're looking for and what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a 2, then it will also find a 2 in here. If you only want it in grade, you must select grade. If you wanted the age, as we saw, 28 has also got a 28 in the 28th of the 1st. So that is not a unique find. If you wanted to find only in age, you must select only in age. So, to recap quickly, the conditional formatting is the same as the normal formatting, except that it is based on the value of the field that you're in. So, if I select this field, the gender field, I can give it the condition to give me only the males. If you're in a number field, you can give it a condition of an age. And the condition, as we saw, you can find things that are between. So if you're looking for a person that is older than 30 but younger than 40, you would use between. And that is in further videos that I'm going to do about conditional formatting. We will use variables where we select a field and say that we can change the selection. But I wanted to start this video with the basics of conditional formatting. So we can format normally a cell or a range of cells, or we can, like in this case, make a condition in a field or a range and say this, highlight all the ones that have a specific condition. That is why it is called conditional formatting. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.